down by the river today, and we're bringing the show to you from down along the river. We'll see how first time I've done this. See how it works out, and hope you guys are having a good day. So today is Thursday, 10/15, October 15th. It is 10:15 Central Standard Time, and we are Land Cruiser Midwest, as it says right over there, Land Cruiser Midwest. This is our daily podcast. We're all about taking you guys to somewhere. I know there's a lot of vloggers and podcasters that like to take you to nowhere and show you nowhere, but we're all about taking you somewhere and educating you on a variety of things that come up. And we focused on the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and try to bring you the vibe of the Midwest. So I'll give you a quick update here. Good show for you today. Yesterday, our governor, JB, I don't know if our fair state, as a lot of people, because right now they're trying to pass the quote-unquote fair tax, which is basically going to remove any millionaires from our quote-unquote fair state. By raising their taxes and putting in the framework that will allow our elected officials to pretty much tax any group of people in the future at any rate that they wish. But anyway, we had another rare, I guess you would call it, TV broadcast or update from JB. He was all upset yesterday because the census isn't going well for our state for whatever reason. It could be that people just aren't responding, which I can see that. A lot of people got a lot of stuff going on. It's not business as usual in our state, so the numbers aren't coming back where he wants them to be. And of course, he waited to the 12th hour to tell people, hey, here's how you can get counted in our census, and excuse me, and hopefully that'll bring up the numbers. Maybe not. Because, our state's been bleeding residents for 10 years now. If you go out and Google, Illinois, we're probably losing 2% of our population over a 10-year period. And it's an exodus. There's really very few people coming into our state because where they raised our taxes. It used to be like 2%. Now it's up to 5%. They raised car fees. They're just raising everything. So a lot of taxation, and even now our fair state ended up getting like $1 billion loan from the government, the Fed, about a week ago, because in a normal state they can get a loan from the stock market or investors for 1%, but our state is so screwed up and our finances are so messed up. It would have cost our state like 5.5% interest to get a loan from Wall Street, and I guess no one even at that rate, no one wanted to give us the money that we needed. So as lender of last resort, the Fed gave us money. So now, and we made history because we are the only state to get a loan from the Fed in that fashion. I don't know if there's going to be other states that take this approach or are forced to do this in the future, but we were the first ones. So, as far as it's the pensions that are messing up our finances, among other things. The other part too is spending. We're a spend state, and part of that, which our politicians don't want to tell you. Of course, this is my opinion, but what the politicians don't want to tell you is a lot of that money is being spent on illegals. We are a sanctuary state, and a lot of our money that we pay for taxes is sent to programs and things that help citizens and non-citizens. So, given our financial status, we just can't afford to be paying for people that are not citizens, but yet we do. Very similar to California. I think that's driving a lot of issues in California. If you want to see how bad things are getting in California, check out a channel called German in Venice. Guy who is he's an immigrant from Germany who came to the United States like 30 years ago, and he runs a business on the Venice boardwalk, and he's been doing a lot of videos about the homeless in Venice Beach, California, and how bad things are getting. So he does a very good job. He actually interviews some of these homeless people and kind of puts a face and a feel to what's going on with the homeless in California. And a lot of the people that are homeless in California are not from California. They're coming from other states because of the weather is a little more agreeable, and some of his interviews are eye-opening. So give him a look-see, and he's probably got 5 or 6 videos at least focused on the homeless in California. But getting back to Illinois, Illinois, the top 3 that are going to have issues with finances are California, Illinois, and New York. And they're all bleeding residents severely the last 5 to 10 years. More so now in New York. I mean, New York, the people are just leaving. The people that can leave are leaving in droves, and the taxation in New York is just high too, just like California. If you live in California and make any type of money, and especially New York, you're spending a lot of money to that you don't have to. If you were to relocate to Florida or Texas, where there is no state income tax. Let's see, we got to do this. Get this out of the picture so it can focus. So, in some cases it's, tens of thousands of dollars, and in some cases it's hundreds of thousands. So, those are the top 3 states that are having issues, and but on the ground here in Illinois, everything seems to be okay. Businesses are operating. I don't know if they're making or losing money, but the doors are open to restaurants and stores, and we didn't lose, at least in my area, northwest suburban area. As I travel around, I'm not seeing a lot of stores closed. Sure, we had a few, as to be expected, but given the impact of what we went through, March through now, I would have expected more empty stores, more empty businesses, and people seem to be hanging on. So I guess that's a good thing, but we'll see what happens as we move to the end of the year. Traditionally, businesses have a tendency to roll up the carpet at the end of the year. When when things aren't going well and call it quits. So we'll see here. The other thing yesterday we went to a major warehouse club to do our monthly shopping, and it was well stocked. A couple of things you notice are missing, but for the most part, it was well stocked, and people were walking out of there with full carts and dollies. So there was no shortage of sales going on. People were buying and loading up. So that, I guess that's a good sign for the economy. But also, I think people are like we do, kind of stocking up for the unknown that's ahead. So we stocked up on some water and canned goods and things that we buy, toilet paper. We had the fiasco with the toilet paper, so we're not going to get caught short on that. We stocked up on that. The last time we went into a grocery store, though, we noticed that some things are starting to show up empty on the grocery stores. So, make sure you have what you need, because the supply chain can get impacted. And I'm hearing that grocery stores are having a hard time finding or sourcing some things, like, I don't know, they didn't really mention, this report didn't mention specifically, but there was a report that a major grocery store chain, used to take them an hour to source a certain product, and now it's taking up to 6 hours to get all that they need. So, just word to the wise, be prepared and stock up on what you need, because there may be a time when you can't get it, like the old toilet paper fiasco we went through in March and April. And we're going to see more people living down by the river, like I'm here today. I'm down by the river. I don't see anybody else, just me and the nice fall colors. But times are going to get tough. Today's Thursday, so they issued another national unemployment numbers, and it's another 890,000 people applied for first-time benefits. So that's almost 1 million, folks. And it's been that way for months now. I mean, if you go back and look, it's been happening for 20 weeks or something like that. So it doesn't seem to be subsiding. Around here, the economy doesn't seem to be that bad, but I don't know anybody personally that's lost their job recently, but I don't know. It's just kind of scary because we had the hospitality industry here in Illinois, downtown Chicago, the airport, around the airport has been hit really, really hard because the conventions they've dried up in Chicago, and the hotel industry and fine dining downtown and around the airport has really taken a hit, and there was a lot of layoffs in July and August for those businesses. So they're not paying rent. There's a couple of hotels. I think it was the Palmer House, looking to maybe even go under. But it's well known, documented knowledge that the hotel industry is not paying their mortgages. A good percentage of them have not been paying, or have been paying a lot less than they're supposed to. So, the hotel industry, they've been hit hard and they don't know when they're coming back. The airlines in Chicago have been hit. Furloughs, which will at some point turn into layoffs. Airplanes have been mothballed since day one of the pandemic, pretty much. So a lot of those airplanes are not coming out. They're just going to be sold for scrap. Like 50% of them. And even like last week, we heard that Boeing, their futures sales are down or non-existent. And I've seen reports where that not only impacts Boeing, but it impacts our economy. So there's like 1 million jobs in the supply chain for Boeing. So if Boeing takes a hit, so does another 1 million or so jobs within our United States that supply them and are associated with them. Similar to the auto industry. Back in the 2008-2009 crisis, the government helped out the auto industry because of all the little companies that feed into that. Boeing is the same way. So, I know locally I haven't heard a lot. I mean, the insurance industry, specifically a company called Allstate, announced they were getting rid of 4,000 people and may get rid of more in the coming months, depending on how things go. I have another friend in the insurance industry, and he said his company, which is a major insurance company, there's rumors out that they may be doing layoffs between now and the end of the year. So companies are tightening their belts and kind of doing what on a personal basis everyone should be doing is getting rid of as much debt and expense that they can, so they can hunker down for whatever is ahead of us. We don't know what's going to happen here. I'm expecting, of course, this is, like I said, this is my personal opinion, but I'm looking for the stock market to take a huge hit in the next 2 months. We've gone to cash, what they call dry powder, like a lot of other people. I was a big investor in the stock market for many years, and it's a good way to make some money. But there's just so much uncertainty. We've really cut back on our investing in the stock market and kind of gone to. You can't get out of the stock market, but really reduced our risk level to, bonds and cash equivalents to try to brace ourselves for what we think is coming up is a major correction of the stock market, as the stock market now is, as the president has said in the last couple of days, is back to where it was, prior to March. And all this uncertainty that's presenting itself with the election and the economy and, the propping up of our economy by the Fed. And there's just a lot of red flags being raised all over the place. So, try to head for the exit a little bit with our investments in hopes of easing the burden of another major market correction, which I think is coming in the near future, the next 2 months or so. On top of that, we've got these eviction moratoriums and mortgage moratoriums and repossession of auto moratoriums that are going to expire at the end of the year unless they are extended. It's kind of a catch-22 for our government folks in our states, because These moratoriums have been in place now since March, so that's what 9 months if we take it to the end of the year. And at some point, you're helping the people that can't make the payments, but you're also hurting the people that own, the mortgages or the apartment buildings that have to pay mortgages. So, they're doing a good thing, but they're also creating more problems for our economy because they're not really solving the problem, and they're just kind of kicking the can down the road. And at some point, you got to pay the pauper. I don't know if you guys have heard that phrase, but there's so many phrases I can think of. But at some point, you got to pay and come to reality that you just can't allow people to live somewhere free and clear and not come back to zero. I think now we're at a point, 9 months, if people aren't paying rent, I would hope they're paying something, but if they've been paying nothing, that's just crazy because you've got these landlords that haven't been getting anything potentially from leases or tenants, and if you're telling them they can't get rid of these people and they just have to keep taking the loss, at some point those people are going to go under because the banks are looking for their money too, and it's gotten to crazy proportions in my book. So we'll see what happens, but be prepared, I guess. I don't know. I'll tell you, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm trying to prepare for the potential for bad things happening in the near and not so distant future. Because as I scan the landscape out there, I see a lot of bad potential indicators popping up here and there, and it makes me a little squeamish because I've lived through the 2008 crisis, and man, before that our economy was on fire too, and it came to a screeching halt. Pretty much over a weekend when some of the financial institutions had some issues, and it got bad, and required a lot of people in the financial world to get together and come up with a potential solution, which really didn't solve everything, but it softened the blow. We were in a bad place. Go back and research the 2008 financial collapse, and man, that was a scary time. And I think what we're up against now is just as bad, if not worse. But I don't think people see it. So, my caution to you guys out there is to be prepared for anything, because it may happen. Anything can happen in the next coming months. So, be prepared. Have backups to your backup plan, and if anything, just have a plan. A lot of people don't have plans. They, they're like, oh, I always expect milk to be at the grocery store. Well, as we saw during this pandemic, meat and pork and stuff dried up on our shelves pretty quick for a couple of weeks when some of these meat processors had COVID issues, and it showed up in the stores. Granted, it was only a short-lived experience, and I think the government kind of got involved a little bit, and but it could have been much worse. So that's just just a small example. And as I go to the grocery store twice a week because I do some volunteering. It requires me to visit a local grocery store, and they're stocked okay. But I'm seeing, a few things missing from the shelves or not stocked. See some empty spaces here and there lately, which kind of raises a little yellow flag for me. But overall, they're stocked well, and but the other thing too is the supply chain of these grocery stores. You have to realize that what you see on the shelves is what they have, and they get a truck like every day or every other day. And the one I go to, I think it's every day that they get something different. But so if they don't have something, that means the warehouse doesn't have it, and they don't have it in the back room. Whatever you see on the shelves is what they have, and once that's gone, there is no more. So if there's a major problem with the supply chain, it's going to show up real quick, and you're not going to get what you want potentially. So you better have some backups in your basement, in your pantry, because we may be experiencing some shortages here in the near future. So I don't mean to bum you guys out. It's a beautiful day here in the Midwest, and as you can see by the river, we are down by the river, and looks like there's no one else around but us. But I hope you enjoyed our visit to the river today. And we are Land Cruiser Midwest. Check out our YouTube channel for some good vids about the Midwest as we try to take you guys somewhere, not to nowhere. We excuse me. Our goal is to take you somewhere, not to nowhere, and that is our goal in life as we add to the content on our YouTube channel. We got a few things out there. Just posted a few things this week, and we'll have another release on Saturday. So I hope you enjoy the channel. We also have a sister channel, The Life of Charlie the Cat. You can check that channel out also if you're into funny cat videos. And I enjoy bringing this content to you guys. So like, share, subscribe, and send out links to your friends, and the more the merrier when it comes to our channel and all the content. So I think we're going to close for now. We've done a half-hour stream. Things look like they turned out pretty well today. We had a few technical difficulties, but we tried something a little bit different here today. We took you guys down by the river, and the water is flowing, as some people would say. And hope you enjoyed the chat we had today, and we will check back with you guys in a day or two, and we are going to sign off. Over and out. 1, 2, 3. We are done. Yeah.